With a background in medicine and a decades-long career as an emergency room physician, Taiwan People's Party founder Wen-je's relative newness in the political field and refreshing frankness in speech have attracted much support as well as criticism.
In Taiwan, when people look at Wen-je, they often forget he is always improving, and he is always changing. His evolution is quite fast.
Interestingly, his outsider status didn't deter the public. Particularly among the youth, his charisma and policies found a deep resonance. This was evident in 2014 when he clinched a win in the Taipei mayoral elections, outshining established politicians. Riding on this momentum, he then founded the TPP, creating waves as the party gears up for its first presidential bid this year.
4 years after the KMT's establishment, the party was still part of a government in exile on the other side of the strait. 4 years after the establishment of the Democratic Progressive Party, they didn't even know where they were. 4 years after the TPP came to be, we have successfully split the political landscape into three. Now, that's impressive.
According to reports, Ke's unfiltered speech stems from his autism spectrum disorder. For many young people, this directness is a breath of fresh air. But for the older generation, the narrative is different. They're less enthralled.
Why does the TPP garner so much support among the youth but not among elders? This is a basic statement. The real reason is older people have lost the courage to dream. You tell them to try new things, and they're scared.
Such blunt remarks often ruffle feathers, especially among veteran politicians and peers in rival parties.
Honestly speaking, I don't fit in with Taiwan's political field. I shine too brightly. This is also a weakness of being a one-person party.
When stacked against DPP and KMT stalwarts, Ke admittedly battles against the odds due to his smaller support base. Yet, his commitment is clear. He champions directness and crafts policies that underscore interaction among Taiwanese citizens. Leading the TPP, Ke's dedication is unwavering. He not only demands excellence from himself, but from those around him as well.
In the past, when I hired new people to work on our team, I always observed when they finally took off their watches. For those who didn't take off their watches within 3 days, meaning didn't work overtime, most would be scrapped in the end.
Regardless of gender or age, he always looks at your abilities in the initial stages. He will then build trust with you through subsequent interactions. He won't give you too much power or responsibility at once.
His high bar has its consequences too. Zhou Yusho, his campaign director, faced Ke's critique when he missed the mark on an event backdrop, being labeled as unreliable.
He said he wanted it on a 1-to-1 scale. When we saw it, it was only slightly bigger than an A4 paper. I was immediately summoned and admonished as unreliable. I explained I told them to make it an adequate scale. He asked what that meant. He said 1-to-1 scale means 1-to-1 scale. Half means half. He said traditional politicians, like you always, make speaking an art. Just say what they mean. Why do we have to make so many twists and turns, so many veiled remarks and hints? If I was operating on hints, it won't take long before the patient dies on the table.
But through it all, Ke's candor remains his hallmark. Coupled with an emphasis on efficiency, he paints a picture of consistency and adaptability as the election looms. And as the clock ticks down to the election day, the choice rests with the voters. Does Ke's vision match their hopes for Taiwan? Liu Jiaying, Ke Shengshong, Vivian Xiao, TVBS World Taiwan.